Oh,
You want to
no.
start the intro or you want me to go?
You can start it.
All right. 3, 2, 1, 0. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Thank You Bro Pod, episode 7, week 7. I'm your host, Will Glover, along with my co-host, Ryan Galloway. Ryan, say hi.
Hi.
Man, you make life hard. I ain't gonna lie. But with that lovely introduction from Ryan, we pretty much are. It's still football season, so that's what we really just want to head into right off rip. Right off rip, we're just gonna go right into it. Ryan, I have some main thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts. Is Colorado overrated?
Well, Colorado is an interesting case because you have Deion, you have Shedeur Sanders, you have Travis Hunter, who is the best player in the nation. He is. I don't think that you can argue that unless maybe Caleb Williams, but I mean, he's phenomenal on both sides of the ball. He's incredible. He's just getting started. I like him a lot. But regardless of that, Colorado, for some reason, well, not for some reason, Deion Sanders was so incredibly overhyped. They go into Fort Worth and get a big win over TCU, who went to the national championship last year. And then, you know, they start out the year 3-0. Deion's Deion. You got flashy, a lot of stuff's going on, bright lights. And then they got absolutely clobbered by Oregon. So overrated? Overhyped, to be sure. But also we have to keep in mind this team didn't win a football game last year. Did they win one? They went 1-11?
That's true.
Or did they go 1-12?
I think they went 1-11, if I recall. Regardless, it doesn't matter. 1 win, 0 wins. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, so they got maybe 1 win last year. New head coach, first year, pretty much entire new team. 6-6 should be a good year for this team. They're probably going to finish better than that.
Yeah, exactly.
And so if we were being realistic,
put an 8-4 season past them.
No, exactly. I think that they're going to lose to USC this weekend, but that's also USC is probably going to be in the playoff, depending on if they can figure out how to play defense.
Yeah.
But, you know, 8-4, 7-5, the fact that we're even talking about that shows how much good Deion has done for this program already. And so, overhyped, yeah. Overrated, I guess maybe that plays in with the hype, but this team is exactly where they should be. And if I'm a Colorado fan, I'm still feeling very good about the state of my team.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I also think Oregon is a legit contender. I think the Pac-12 is going to come down to a 3-game or a 3-team tie, really, where everyone has a loss and there's going to have to be some sort of tiebreaker. And Colorado might be that 4th team that really decides out of USC, Oregon, and Washington who wins the Pac-12. I mean, besides the championship game, obviously. But yeah, I love Deion Sanders. I love what he's doing for football. I love the example he sets as well. And so for people to kind of hate on him unnecessary, there are other things to hate on in the college football world. I wouldn't hate on Deion for sure. But yeah, Pac-12 going to be fun to watch. Finally, the last season ever, the Pac-12. It's going to be fun. Isn't that crazy, man? So moving on from the Pac-12, I feel like it's right we talk about them first since we always have to watch them last. So we'll go into the SEC for right now. And by SEC, I also mean Texas as well. But we're going to talk about Georgia first, who has yet to impress me at all. I don't think Georgia's a legit contender like we all think. I think the best teams play in the Big 12 and the Pac-12 this season, which is wild to say considering years past. What are your thoughts on Georgia?
I mean, exactly your thoughts. They haven't shown me anything, you know? I feel like they're number one just because they're Georgia. You put them in any other uniform and they're probably not even in the top 3. You put that talent, that coaching, all that, the entire team, give them a different logo. And I think that they're not, I don't think they sniff the top 3 right now because I'm not seeing anything. Their quarterback play is mid at best. Their defense has fallen off from last year. Still good. But I don't see anything that really moves the needle that sets them apart like they have for the past 3 years. They're in the hunt, defense sure, but
don't count out Kirby Smart. We've seen that. That is that right? Yeah, I'm not tripping. It's still. Yeah, I'm sorry. Complete brain fart. Don't count them out. Their defense has gotten progressively worse as the years gone on, like you said. Giving up 21 points to UAB when you're Georgia is kind of embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. So their big test is Auburn, really, at Auburn. This is Auburn's Super Bowl, and so we're gonna see what Georgia's made of in an actual SEC competition. Besides that, I mean, they got Kentucky, Vanderbilt. They do have to play Florida and ranked Missouri, which I think is absolutely insane. And then they got Ole Miss and Tennessee, all top 20 teams. But
there's potential to lose all of those. Maybe not Vanderbilt.
Those are trap games. They're not going to lose Vanderbilt, and they're not losing Georgia Tech at the end of the year.
No.
But besides that, it's all up in the air, honestly. So, and I wouldn't even put. I think you have to put Georgia in your top 5 still, just because they haven't lost and they're national champions. So, but it's a really fun season to watch. I'm not gonna lie, because we don't know. Because last year it was like, all right, who's playing for second? Georgia's winning. Obviously, Bennett's insane. The 30-year-old Bennett is insane. Rams legend, and just I had to throw that one in there. He will play a snap this year. Trust me.
Oh, will he?
And so yeah, he will. I promise you. I promise. Okay. I promise Bennett will have a touchdown pass this season, because Stafford will be hurt by week 8. That's NFL talk. We'll get in that later. I want to talk about also Florida State is not a contender. I know we're talking about Georgia's an iffy contender. Your previous number 1 from week 3 is not a top 10 team in my opinion. I've not been impressed with Florida State in the slightest. They barely scrape off a win against Clemson, who it's like, okay, it was at Clemson, whatever. No. Clemson sucks, all right? Klubnik, coming from someone who sits on the couch all day, Klubnik's not a good quarterback, all right? And as someone, I'm like, man, you got to respect the athletes for what they do. I'm sorry. I watched the most atrocious reads in history last week. Klubnik just throwing the ball, just like, oh, he down there somewhere. And then you just like, I don't know. So please back up your Florida top 10 opinion, or Florida State top 10.
There's a lot to like with Florida State. I think Norvell's a fantastic coach. I think Jordan Travis is a great quarterback. I think their defense is all right.
It's all right.
I just think that they're a team that has playmakers on both sides of the ball. They have good coaching. They're winning the games they're supposed to win. How many years have we seen Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, whoever else almost lose games to teams they should eke by?
That's true.
And they're always there at the end of the year. I think that they're going to play their best football when they need to. I don't think they're going to win a national championship this year. I don't know if they make the playoff. If they went out, they should. But I still like them in the top 4. I think that's where they belong right now because they haven't done anything to deserve less. That's my main argument for them right now.
All right. That is fair. I personally, right now, as the rankings stand, you're right. You can't take them out because all they've done is win. But as an undefeated team, they're just really nothing inspiring about them to me. But who knows? They got Duke in a few weeks. They have Miami towards the end of the year, and they got Florida. So
that'll be interesting. Those are interesting matchups. I'm interested to see what happens this weekend with Duke and Notre Dame, because Duke hasn't really been on my radar. But that could be a game to watch out for.
I think Duke and North Carolina might be the sleeper teams coming out of the ACC, to where those could be the two standing at the top at the conference at the end. If Florida State, fumbles, Miami's also in there too. So, another conference. I think the ACC is the worst Power 5 conference, but it's another conference that it's up for grabs, really. I only think the only conference that's really isn't up for grabs is the Big Ten and the Big 12, because you only have two teams competing for number one spot in both of those conferences. Besides that, I think the SEC is up for grabs. Obviously, Pac-12 with the 4 top 10 teams. I mean, like I said before, fun season to watch. I'm really excited for that one. And let's move on to the Big 12. At future SEC, the best team in the country right now is the Texas Longhorns, and I have never said that in my life, because when I was like 8 was the last time that the Texas Longhorns were the best team in the country, before Colt McCoy got cheap shotted, of course. Alabama's first title was a fluke. Let's just get that out there. All right, Texas was going to win that game had Colt McCoy not been injured. But let's not. Colt McCoy was long in the past. It's Quinn Ewers now, and the Texas Longhorns. What are your thoughts on Steve Sarkisian's Longhorns?
Where do I begin? That defense is, I'm going to say that's one of the best defenses in the country. I mean, especially up front. That defensive line is absurd. It's fantastic. Offensive line is showing me a lot more week after week. They're playing better every week. Quinn Ewers scares me. He needs to be making throws that he isn't making. His accuracy is very inconsistent. And that's okay, because he has playmakers that can make him look a lot better and help him in those situations. I mean, he had a great game against Baylor, great game against Alabama. He's getting better. He shows up for the big games. My biggest concern with him and the rest of the team is they start out flat-footed against lesser opponents. So I'll be very interested to see what happens this weekend, because it's Kansas, but it's ranked Kansas, undefeated Kansas. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, we have the best talent in the country, the best playmakers. Jonathan Brooks, I don't want to call him elite yet, but he's definitely playing.
He's pretty good.
He's in the upper echelon of running backs.
Yeah, I mean, 65 carries, 3 touchdowns, 380 yards.
I thought there was going to be a lot steeper of a fall off between him and Bijan, but he's playing very well. He's playing at a very high level. Exactly. More than serviceable. Come on, give him his flowers.
I mean, compared to Bijan Robinson, who is one of the best halfbacks that we saw in college football in a long time, probably close to like Derrick Henry type, the halfback,
and the best running back in the NFL.
Isn't that crazy? And he's
awesome.
Played 4 games.
Yeah.
So, or maybe Mostert. So, after that insane fantasy performance that really put me down, really just ended my entire week in most leagues, because I was playing him. I'm not going to go on a coping rant, whatever. All right. I'm very upset of a very poor fantasy week. But yeah, sticking back to topic, Texas looks fantastic. And you know who I'm really excited to see more is Jatavian Sanders.
Oh my God. He's having a year.
He's nuts. He everything that's thrown to him, he's catching, and Texas has finally realized, like, oh wait, we need to use this guy. His last 2 games, I think he has 8 receptions and like 9 targets. He needs to be targeted more.
He's the best tight end in the nation.
Yeah, and so they need to use him more, because he only has 12 receptions right now, and he's leading the team in receiving yards, which
he's
I think is
playing
really funny.
On Sundays very soon.
Oh, and a big kid. What is he? 6'6"? Like, just a man, dude. Like, I can't. He's a man's man. Anyways, got
a little carried away, didn't you?
Making me blush a little bit. Anyways, I love Jatavian Sanders. Good kid. All right, so kind of wrapping up what we've been saying, and I'm sorry, Michigan fans, that I kind of left Michigan out. I don't really know what to talk about with Michigan, because I feel like Michigan is kind of just waiting for Georgia to screw up and then to take the number 1 spot. Michigan's really not playing anyone until Penn State later on in the year, and so I really don't have anywhere else to put Michigan than 2 in my rankings, because, like you said, they haven't done anything that's made me be like, all right, this team isn't good. So Michigan's defense might be the best defense in the country. I think. I can pull it up. The most they've allowed in the game is voice crack, by the way. The most they've allowed in the game is 7. Granted, they've played some pretty bad teams, but I mean, if you're going to play bad teams, at least hold them, right?
Well, exactly. So, that's the thing for me is I hate to see them, their first 4 games of the year against these respectfully bad teams, not on the same level as them, right? But they're doing what they're supposed to be doing against those teams. And that's what makes the difference. You're scheduling these teams, okay, whatever. Are you playing how you should be against them? And we know their offense is not going to put up 1 million points. They're going to rely on their defense, and they're going to make sure their offense scores a decent amount. And they should win most of their games. I don't know what happens when they play Ohio State, but for now, they're going to get by doing that. That being said, I'm going to give you a little spoiler real quick. Because if Texas wins against Kansas this weekend, they're going to be my number one team in the nation.
They're not your number one team now?
Well, I like them. I think Michigan's still number one for me personally, just because I feel like it'd be wrong not to. I'm gonna keep crapping on Georgia until they show me something. But right now, for me, it's Michigan 1, Texas 2, Georgia/Florida State 3-4.
I mean, that's fair, but I also think, Michigan does not put up points. Their offense isn't very electric. It's good. It's the best in the Big Ten besides Ohio State, but the Big Ten has teams like Iowa who score like literally no points a game. So we'll have to see. Nebraska will be a test. Honestly, it's tough to play in Nebraska. So Lincoln is a tough place to play, no matter how bad that team is. And Nebraska's pretty bad this year, if I recall. But we'll see. This weekend's actually really big for standings, in my opinion, because you have a lot of, it's now conference play. Conference play is officially started for everyone. So, but right now, I think Texas is most rounded, and the fact that Quinn isn't playing his best ball yet, and they're still dominating, it's pretty encouraging. Longhorn fans should be excited, because I have Texas 1, Michigan 2, Georgia 3, Ohio State 4, and my number 5 team, believe it or not, is Washington. I think that team is a fantastic team. They play a fantastic brand of football. Penix might win the Heisman. I think Penix is the favorite. Yeah, I think he's the favorite over Caleb Williams, honestly. They're just blowing out every team they play. Their closest margin of victory was last week against Cal, and they won 59-32. They are quite literally just blowing everyone out of the water. Penix has 1,600 passing yards already, which is crazy in his 4 games. They're number 1, actually. I'm looking at the team stats. They're number 1 in passing yards, number 3 in points. The rushing game, when you can throw as much as they can and be successful, you don't need a rushing game. And they're top 25 in points against. So this team, and I can honestly put this team above Ohio State or Georgia and maybe slide them in at 3.
Wow.
I'm feeling a little risky putting a team not named USC, a Pac-12 team not named USC in the top 5 in the college football playoff era. But yeah, this Washington team, it looks great. I would, personally speaking, an Alamo Bowl rematch in the national championship game would hit like crack, right? It would hit so good.
It makes me think, you see, and you're talking about Washington, you see Texas, Florida State, Ohio State, Oklahoma's inching their way.
They're not bad.
Way. There's a lot
I don't think
of
they're
teams
there yet, but
that are
they're
in
not
the
bad.
Conversation. This would have been a fantastic year for the 12-team playoff.
And is that next year, right?
That is next year.
It would be. That would be. I said an Alamo Bowl rematch hit like crack. This 12-team playoff, man, it's going to be nice. So good.
It's going to be exciting. It's an exciting time.
I'll be sitting at home watching 6 playoff games in one night, pretty much. Well, 4 playoff games. Top team got to bye. How does it work? Or is it 1 versus 12, 2 versus 11?
I think so.
All right, so 6 playoff games in one night. It can't get better than that. I'm already looking forward to 2020, 2024, 2025. But for now, we have to stick with 2023, 2024. And I think this is a great season to stick for, especially if you're a Longhorn fan, which we are. You being a student, me just being a fan. It's satisfying to watch a good brand of football again, because I don't know about you, but it's been pretty rough. It's been pretty rough.
And even now, as a lifelong fan, student, soon to be former student, it just even now we're 4-0. We look good, both sides of the ball. I still have such terrible trust issues with them.
Oh yeah, the Longhorn curse.
It's like we're waiting for
They're
the other shoe to drop.
Yep, exactly. It's like, all right, we're up 20. When do we blow this lead? But anyways, that's pretty much all I got for college football. I think we covered it. Got some exciting games next week. Texas, Kansas. I can't think of. I can pull it up right here. Yeah, Duke, Notre Dame, Utah, Oregon State Friday. That's a top 20 matchup.
That's
USC,
exciting.
Colorado, of course. Besides that, do you know where game day is? I wasn't
Duke,
paying
Notre
attention.
Dame.
That is game day. All right, so there you go. So that'll be exciting. It'll be another good weekend. Be another good weekend of football. So speaking of football, let's talk about where the big guys play. The National Football League.
Look at that.
Your
Look at that
Patriots.
right there.
Go ahead and
Just
give a recap on the Patriots for us. Why I get in order all my stuff. You go ahead.
Basically, Mac Jones is a god among men. All right. Simply put, I mean, he and Bill O'Brien are just he and all right. Come on. He and Bill O'Brien
You are miserable.
are such a fantastic duo. Ramondre Stevenson is finally starting to pick up where he left off last year, which is a really good running back. Ezekiel Elliott's showing us he can still play. DeMario Pop Douglas is a very exciting player to watch. Just a rookie. I think that he's going to do some very exciting stuff for the team. That defense is fantastic. Matt Judon should put himself in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year in the AFC. There's a lot to like. There's a lot to be excited about. However,
there's a however.
outside of Hunter Henry,
Yeah, who are you throwing it to?
who are you throwing it to? Because Juju
You got
sucks.
Juju.
Juju's
Jacoby
horrible.
Meyer.
He plays in Vegas.
Oh, that's right. Forgot.
Yeah.
I don't watch Patriots football, obviously.
Devontae Parker's wide receiver 1. He can do cool stuff sometimes.
That's right. My bad.
When I'm excited
Disclaimer.
for Tyquan Thornton to be back. Tyquan Thornton is going to be a big time player, I think. Kendrick Bourne, he had a really big week 1, decent week 2. He's a wide receiver 2 at best.
Fall off.
He's still, he's good, but he's not the guy, I want to see Mac Jones have some actual weapons. I want to see him have a clear-cut wide receiver 1 that he can build chemistry with, and I just want him to have some help. The offensive line sucks. Trent Brown being back is huge, but the offensive line
Was he back last week?
Horrible. Yeah. And he played well, but
That's
the
good.
offensive line is horrible.
Yeah, so I don't personally take the time out of my day to watch the New England Patriots. They are playing a struggling Jets team, in which Zach Wilson sucks. Sorry. I gave him a chance. I said, you know what? I think
He's
Jets
bad.
fans need to give him 2 weeks. Second week is rolled around. Jets fans, you need to start crying. All right. It's over. Your season's over. But you know whose season's really picking up? And it's to a team I need to apologize to, actually, because I've been the biggest Cleveland Browns hater for probably about the last 10 years because I deserve to be. But this year they look good. And I said starting into the year that I wasn't really going to be impressed by him. Deshaun Watson, still a bad guy. All right. Let's not throw this out. He played very well though. Give credit where credit is due. Amari Cooper is a beast. And the Titans look, Myles Garrett is, as a Rams fan, Myles Garrett's the best defensive player in football. Hot take. Over Aaron Donald, over Micah Parsons. He was just insane. And so, Cleveland might look like one of the best teams in football, really. Are they Super Bowl contenders? No, absolutely not. But they might make a good run in the playoffs. I mean, they're gonna run into who are they gonna run into in the playoffs? I mean, I'm trying to think about this. What, like Miami? No one's beaten Miami. I mean, at this point. But
Well, realistically,
to wrap things
who's going to be there? Who's going to be there? Miami's going to be there.
It's going to be Miami, Buffalo, as Buffalo will be the wild card. Your Patriots are not going. Sorry.
Well, hold on. Everything's gonna change.
No, bro. They have one of the hardest schedules in football. It's over.
Oh, no, it's terrible. Isn't it the worst?
Play for next year, bro. Play for 3 seed. I don't know. I don't care.
That's been the name of the game since Brady left.
So, Miami, Buffalo, wildcard 1. I mean, the Bengals aren't making the playoffs in the North. Bengals could hardly beat the Rams, and the Rams are one of the worst teams in football. So, Ravens, Steelers aren't going to finish above 500. I know they're 2-1 now. They look pretty okay. But, I mean, it's Cleveland and Baltimore fighting for that division. Loser goes to wild card 2. And then the Colts have that division wrapped up, I think. And then obviously the Chiefs. And so I never count out Patrick Mahomes, but just like the Patriots, the only target Mahomes has is Kels. Which, by the way, Kels and T Swift, we can talk about that in a little bit. I want it to stop. But I feel like we have to discuss it at least once, right? As media, I think we have
noteworthy.
to.
It'd be irresponsible not to.
All right, but we can talk about that in a second.
I also think it's interesting, and I don't know if you're doing this on purpose, but you're properly pronouncing Travis Kelce's last name.
It is Kels. I looked it up.
It is
when I was doing a podcast.
It is Kels.
Yeah, when I was doing it 2 weeks ago, I literally stopped my recording to confirm it, and then restarted my recording. And when I was talking about Kels and the Kels family, anyways, so I will pronounce it as it's supposed to be, because as someone with the last name Glover and always getting pronounced Glover, it's not right, and it pisses me off. So I have to do the
same
justice.
issue as you.
No, you don't. Galloway is pronounced one way.
Yeah, but some people spell it with an A.
Galloway?
Yeah.
It's Gallo.
That should feel pretty stupid now.
Anyways, it's not about you, man, all right? So
that's where you're
continuing on. So Cleveland runs into Miami or the Chiefs. First or second round out. That's a deep playoff run for Cleveland, all right? So I mean, first round is deep playoffs for such a horrendous franchise. But
that's true.
I mean, my Super Bowl prediction, this is way too early, obviously. Injuries can happen. Tua could get concussed like he did last year. But it's got to be Miami versus Philly or San Francisco, honestly. And I think Philly has the upper hand because they have the second best quarterback in football. So, and the best 1 yard play of all time.
You can't stop the wedge, baby.
I like how people are starting to complain. They're like, you got to ban that play. No, just don't allow it to get to that point, honestly. It was like banning the shift in baseball. Don't let it get to that point. But I digress.
Yeah, we can have
my
a
bad.
whole conversation about that.
Yeah, hit the microphone. My bad. All right, Ryan. So let me hear your way too early and your thoughts on everything that we've kind of been talking about.
Where to begin? The Dolphins look fantastic. I disagree with your take on the Browns. It's going to fall apart, especially with Chubb out.
Board looks good.
I think that if the Jets want to make the playoffs, they need to go get a quarterback. I don't know which quarterback they need to go get. Maybe Minshew. Minshew's showing that he can play competently, which is
you
more
gotta
than
stop
Zach
glazing
Wilson.
him, bro.
I'm just saying. I think that he has the talent to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, and when he's behind center and he's running an offense, he's not going to shit his pants like Zach Wilson does every down.
That's
and
fair.
That makes
That's
all the
fair.
difference.
You know who I think they should go after is Colin Kaepernick. Did you see his latest workout video and the letter that J. Cole released on social media? I don't have it in front of me. In post, I'm gonna put it up right now, and I'll let the audience read that. If you're listening on Spotify, sorry, we're moving on. So if you're watching on YouTube though, which is where you should be watching it, go ahead and pause the video right now because we're gonna play it. The workout video and his letter. It was a cool letter. I'm not gonna lie. Colin Kaepernick sucks, but
Colin Kaepernick wasn't good when he was 25. I don't know why we think he's going to be good at 35.
Exactly. I mean, everyone's like, well, he led the Niners to the Super Bowl. It's like, well, Kanye made graduation. So, I mean, it's same thing.
He inherited such a good team, and Alex Smith did all the legwork on that.
Pun intended.
No pun intended.
My bad, guys.
No.
My bad. Alex Smith, we love you.
Friend of the
No
show.
hard feelings there. Friend of the show. Yep. All right. So you disagree with me on Super Bowl prediction. Go ahead and give me yours.
Well, I think my Super Bowl prediction is quite simple, really. I want to put the Dolphins in there.
Okay.
We're going to throw the Dolphins in there.
That's fair.
And then, you know how we always make fun of Dallas for always choking and never making it all the way and never showing us something.
Stop! You're not.
Well, they're gonna do. Well, they're gonna do it
man.
again this year. It's gonna be the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Okay. Good. I was like, you're not putting Dallas. That team is not good, guys. All right. The Cowboys have one of the worst quarterbacks in football. They just lost to the Cardinals. Poverty. So I guess we're kind of the same. Miami and Philly. But
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
There's
that's
no
the
one
only
else,
answer
man.
for now. No, because
Yeah,
I
and
don't.
like-
I don't believe in the Chiefs. I don't believe in the Chiefs this year. I liked the Vikings going into the year. Is Kirk Cousins even going to finish the year with the Vikings? Maybe he's going to go to the Jets.
maybe the Jets, yeah, because the
I like
Vikings
that a
can't
lot.
seem to win with one of the best quarterbacks in football, which I think is insane. Vikings are straight poverty.
They're going to
which is
send.
gonna be
They're going to
really
send
bad
Cousins.
It's going to be really bad for Justin Jefferson fantasy owners, honestly, because Kirk Cousins
hold on.
makes that man.
They're going to send.
go ahead.
They're going to send Kirk Cousins to the Jets. And then what is one to do with Jay Jettas except send him to the Patriots, right?
What do the Patriots have that are even close? It's even close to be worth Justin Jefferson.
We'll give him Juju and a pick.
It needs to be like 30 picks if you're going to add Juju, because that's just salary dump.
We'll give him Juju, a second and a third.
Wow. You need to be giving him like 2 first.
No, I don't want to.
Well, then you're not getting them. And I don't even think 2 first. Well, you need to put Jay Jettas and Cousins in a package deal for Zach Wilson, a first rounder, and another like slapdick wide receiver or something. I know they got a lot of them. Isn't Braxton Berrios on the on the Jets? There you go.
Patriots
See ya.
legend.
Future Viking Braxton Berrios. All right, so there you have it. There's your trade deal right there. He's not going to the Justin Jefferson. I personally guarantee it. Like you see Charles Barkley on Inside. I personally guarantee it that Justin Jefferson will never put on navy and red. Okay, and he will never play or live. He'll never live in the Foxborough area, in the Boston area.
Okay, he can commute. That's fine.
That's not what I was getting at.
Oh,
So, anyways, delusional Patriots fan. At least your other host is a realistic Rams fan of the third worst team in football.
there you go.
Yeah, so it's tough. Stafford, and Cup's coming back this week, or next week. But
that
there's no
still
hope.
doesn't solve a lot of problems.
We sold our soul for a ring, and I'll tell you, it
And
was
you have
worth
to live
it.
with that. There you go.
That's fine. I'd say it's worth it because I got to watch. It's the only team that I've seen in my 20s win a ring for me. So St. Louis ain't
that's
doing
exciting.
it. The Spurs are. It's happening. The Spurs are going to win a ring in the next 5 years. And you know what? Since I brought up the Spurs, let's just hop right into the NBA because I don't think I have any more talking points on the NFL. And we won't start with the Spurs, but I do want to start with your opinion on you know what? You're a Celtics fan. Give me your review on Celtics offseason.
It was, well, I think it was fantastic. I mean, we obviously got better adding Kristaps Porzingis. There's just no way around it. I mean, he's a 7-footer who shoots lights out from three, can defend, can rebound. He's fantastic. I love him. I think he's going to fit in really well with this team, play really well alongside Tatum and Brown. I was gutted to lose Marcus Smart, and he's played his best basketball. He's going to start declining, and that's okay. But my main concern with losing Smart is he was the ultimate locker room guy. He was the clear-cut leader of the team, vocal leader, calling people out when they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing and making sure everyone was accountable. I don't think Tatum can do that, and I don't know who does that in Smart's absence. We signed a bunch of bums, which is cool. I wish we had brought back Blake Griffin because he was also a really good locker room guy. But I think it was a very good offseason. I'm going to give him a B+, and it's a lot better than we usually do in the offseason. So I think that anyone who says that the Celtics aren't, if not title favorites, in the top three teams in the league, they're just in denial.
I agree, and I think the Celtics are going to come out of the Eastern Conference, and they're going to play the Cavs, but there's no LeBron on that Cavs team. So the Celtics will make the finals again, probably. But that Cavs team looks pretty good. No, because Nikola Jokic still exists and LeBron James still exists. Never count out the 39-year-old or the 38-year-old, soon to be 39. Our glorious king, LeBron.
As long as Anthony Davis is still doing the Anthony Davis things, I'm going to count them out.
Anthony Davis was arguably the second best player in the postseason last year, besides Jokic. What do you mean? He's just injuries.
He's gonna get hurt. He's not gonna be able to play when they need him to play, as he's demonstrated his entire career. And then you have 39-year-old LeBron at that point.
He's still putting up 27-7-7, but
yeah, but
it's a different type of 27-7-7. I know.
I think they're gonna have the same problem as they've had, which is no depth. You know, their starters are great. They have a great starting line.
Hold on, they're gonna get exhausted. The Lakers added a lot of depth.
It was their most pressing need, but I'm still afraid that's not gonna.
The Lakers had a fantastic offseason. I think arguably the best offseason because they solved the problem, which was trying to stop Jokic to hold him to at least 28 points, 10 and 10, instead of 36, 15, 15, which is what the issue they were having in the playoffs. Every team was having it. No one was stopping the best player in the world. But they sign. I mean, obviously they have D'Lo still, and but they signed Gabe Vincent, Taurean Prince, Jackson Hayes, who's a great rim protector, and he can fill in. He can save Anthony Davis's legs. They also got Christian Wood. That was a few weeks ago, and they re-signed Jared Vanderbilt, for pretty much pennies on the dollar. I mean, this is.
I'm still gonna wait and see. On them.
Yeah, of course, that's fair because I still think the Nuggets are title favorites. I think they're going to go back to back.
They have to be.
And because they only lost Bruce Brown, right? I think they lost him, and yeah. So, but
Bruce Brown was a huge part of that team.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, but and the Lakers re-signed Reeves and Hachimura, which were arguably their 3 and 4 option that entire postseason. So, Bruce Brown is huge, obviously, for the Nuggets. That is a tough loss, but Michael Porter Jr. is playing his best ball now, and Jamal Murray is going to be 100% this season. He was still playing. You could tell he was still a little slow during the playoffs. He's just trying to work back from those devastating leg injuries. Mm-hmm. And once again, you had the best player in the world. It was like...
You know what's crazy to me?
Go ahead.
Jamal Murray's never even been an All-Star.
I think that just feels a disservice. It's almost like... it was like Damian Lillard missing the All-Star game for the first few years of his career. Just being completely slept on. But it's an injustice. And I think he'll get an All-Star nod this season as long as he stays healthy. He has the hype around him now. He has the fan hype around him. Everyone saw what he did in the postseason. I watched highlights, some highlights from the postseason, and it was just the most absurd shots going in for the Nuggets. Like, watching that reminded me but I was like, yeah, there's no way they're losing. Jokic was throwing stuff over his head 35 feet out and it was going in. And Jamal Murray. So, I mean, that was theirs, and it's going to be theirs next year. No, bro. Neither of us are good at 2K. Let's be honest here. And we're going to be humbled really, really soon.
Give me my due.
You're good. You're a good double-double. You're a good double-double in and out.
They call me
I'm not. I'm ass. But
you took a big step down last year.
You're gonna be humble, yeah, because I have an awful build. That we're not getting into this, man. I'm gonna get upset. But you're gonna be humble tonight, all right? So
we'll see what happens.
Get off the high horse, all right? We'll see. As long as Spencer comes through, we need our point guard to not go 1 for 15. I like how he tried to blame me for sucking, going 2 for 10, and he was 1 for 15, and it was allowed 1 for 15. But enough 2K. I don't want to talk about that really because, like I said, it's going to get me upset. I mentioned Lillard earlier. Toronto is now apparently the front runner for. And I see you've texted the NBA 2K chat. So, the Toronto Raptors are the front runner for Damian Lillard as we speak right now. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, it's surprising to me. It makes sense, but it's surprising. I don't know if he would be happy. I know he wouldn't be happy with that. But like I said, when news first broke that he wanted to go to Miami doesn't have the pieces to trade for him. That's an impossible. That can't happen. It could never happen, and it's not happening.
Yep.
But Toronto. I don't know who they. I don't know who Toronto gives
Toronto
up.
has picks. They have Grady Dick, but he hasn't even played a game yet. So how good is he really? It's just like any other player who hasn't played yet.
We'll see what happens.
Besides that,
I think
they have Precious. If he's still on that, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I ain't gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Lillard and Siakam, they'll make the playoffs. They're not gonna do anything. Maybe a 5 seed. I think it's a lateral move.
The Eastern Conference is really good now. It's not the Eastern Conference of old, where it was just Miami and the Blazers and the Pacers, or Cleveland and the Raptors. It's now the Celtics, 76ers, Cavs,
not the Sixers.
Knicks. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, teams that are better than Toronto
There's a lot.
Yeah, obviously the Sixers aren't doing anything. I mean, and the Heat obviously going from the finals. We're gonna watch the Wizards play the most uninspiring but inspiring at the same time brand of basketball ever. Seeing Jordan Poole. It's gonna be
awesome.
Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma are about to be like me and Spencer in NBA 2K.
Yeah,
that is literally the Washington Wizards team right there.
It's gonna be good.
So, Eastern Conference up for grabs. Western Conference is a 2-team race, in my opinion. Well, I'm so sorry, Phoenix Suns fans. I forgot about y'all. It's a 3-team race, but I don't know how the Phoenix Suns are gonna gel. It's any team with Kevin Durant on it, and there's 3 other All-Stars.
It's very volatile.
It's like, I don't know. Kevin Durant doesn't play well when he's not number 1 option, and this is Devin Booker's team. It always has been ever since he's been drafted, and it always will be until he leaves. So, will Kevin Durant want to play second fiddle? No, and so I don't. I don't think Kevin Durant will be a Sun by the end of the year. Believe that.
Whoa.
Right? Hot take.
Okay.
I think the Suns kind of like how the Nets kind of just complete disaster class. The Suns will be the same way. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are cursed. Kevin Durant began his curse when he sold his soul to the Golden State Warriors, and Kyrie believes the earth is flat. And so, but I still love Kyrie. I got his jersey. It was on sale. That's why I bought it.
There you go.
So, yeah, it's a 3-team race in the West. We have a lot of good young teams in the West, though, like the Thunder, the Jazz look good. Spurs, obviously. I saw an article a few days ago. ESPN's already hedging their earlier hype from Wemby. There's an article ESPN wrote saying, "Don't be expecting success year 1." And so, I mean, I agree. I don't think Wemby's really ready, NBA ready. His talent is NBA ready. His potential is, but his body is not. So what are your thoughts on what's your Wemby outlook? I know this isn't as important to you, but this is something that obviously the number 1 pick and the greatest, most hyped talent since LeBron James. So what are your thoughts on Wemby?
I like him. I think he's an otherworldly talent. I mean, he is an otherworldly talent. I think that the Spurs is one of the best situations for him and one of the best places he could have gone. I'm afraid of his body. Well, that sounds...
Yep.
No,
you're right.
He needs to gain weight. He's not going to be able to defend against... I mean, definitely not Jokic, but even some of the better centers and power forwards in the league, they're going to bully him. You know, he's not going to be able to... I don't know. He's going to need size to be able to play successfully in the NBA. But when he puts on that size, what happens to the game that got him to the NBA? And that's my main concern.
I mean, his post moves are still good. So I think once he gets that size, I think it's instead of being outside in, he's going to be a more perimeter centric player. But I don't know. I'm really not. So I was scared of Wemby's body. Then I saw this video. I'm going to play it right now as I talk over it of Wembanyama stretching. That dude, did you see the video? You need to look it up if you haven't seen it. He was doing the splits. 7'5", doing some weird bodily contortion thing. I mean, this guy's a freak in the most respectful way possible. This is a freak of nature athlete. And honestly, I was concerned he was going to tear something there, but he looked pretty comfortable. So I think risk of tearing something's low. I think risk of breaking something's high, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think I'm terrified of him getting hurt.
Yeah, I am too. As a Spurs fan, it's definitely hold your breath every time. He tweaked his ankle game 2 of the summer league, and I was like, season's over. So, but speaking of freakish Spurs talent. Let's talk about a Spurs talent of old who's currently on the Los Angeles Clippers. Mr. Kawhi Leonard, still one of my favorite players. I have forgiven him because I don't blame him for everything that happened back in 18. It was to say the least. But a quote from Kawhi Leonard today on what to expect to see from his game. He says, "I'm in my grocery corner store bag, giving people what they want and need." It's over. Kawhi Leonard's MVP, right? I mean, if he's talking like this, and I'll put the picture up from Sideline Sources. He's got the long hair going. He's got the beard going. League on Watch, 34-year-old Kawhi Leonard will win his first MVP this year. He's going to actually play 30 points a game. He's going to get like 10 steals a game probably. I mean, it's over. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. And so for that reason, that makes the Clippers a contender now. Anything to add on the robot machine we know as Kawhi Leonard?
I mean, for people listening, none of what Will just said matters or is going to happen, so it's fine. It's still the Clippers. It's still Kawhi and Paul George taking turns resting, and they
have new rules now for that, though.
Yeah, but
did you hear about the new load management rules?
I did.
So I actually
we'll see what
I have
happens.
them right here. For those who don't know, new load management rules have been implemented. This is true. So every team needs one star player playing at all times. So what you said, Ryan, they could swap. But every star has to play in nationally televised games, and so that's 16 guaranteed games. I think that they might have 20. They might have 20 nationally televised games. So that's a fourth of the season guaranteed. You're going to see Paul George and Kawhi Leonard playing at the exact same time, as long as they're not hurt. And you can't shut a player down like the Clippers have been known to do. And resting stars have to travel with the team still and potentially suit up. Even if they're not playing, they might be forced to play. So I think these rules are good for basketball. I know attending games last year in San Antonio, I was holding my breath that I would see LeBron play, and I got to see LeBron, Westbrook, and AD all play. That was fortunate, but I didn't. When the Thunder came in town, I couldn't see SGA. They rested him. They shut him down at that point. The season was pretty much over, so SGA didn't play. So that was frustrating. So I love the new rules personally. What are your thoughts?
Just that. I think it's fantastic. It's great for the game. It's going to prevent fans getting screwed over, because especially kids who want to see their heroes, people who save their hard-earned money to go to a game just to see LeBron or just to see Kawhi or just to see whoever, just to not get to see them. It shouldn't be happening. And so I'm glad that they're finally implementing rules to prevent that. It's not perfect. It's not going to stop everything, but I think it's definitely going to help.
Yeah, definitely. So it's good. It's good for basketball. Basketball is getting better again. For you, basketball is fun to watch. I enjoyed watching the Spurs last year, even though we were the worst team. But basketball is starting to get better. There's more competitive teams now, and it's not Golden State and Cleveland. So I was wanting to talk about MLB. We're 50 minutes in. It ain't happening. I will personally do, unless you want to join me on Thursday, I will personally do an MLB podcast on my own or with Ryan if he wants to join. I'm not sure what your schedule is. I do want to talk about the postseason and some fun stats from the season, but I'm not going to do it here. Overall, I think we've covered everything we want to cover. And, of course, Ryan's great insight, which is why I have him here, because I am not him. So
I am
Ryan.
I am he.
There you are. That is true. So with that being said, Ryan, you close us out because I feel like I'm doing a lot of it. So you're better at this than I am. Go ahead and shut this one down.
First of all, you're perfect. I don't like that negative self-talk that I'm hearing.
Thank you. I'm going to save that and leave that on my phone.
Okay, that's okay. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in this week to the Thank You Bro podcast with Will Glover and myself, Ryan Galloway. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you made it this far, be sure to leave feedback, like, comment, subscribe, wherever you may be in taking our voices into your brains. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next week.
Adios.
That's all I have to say.
That's it. Adios, guys. As the great Greg Popovich once said. I don't know if he said that, but who cares? Anyways, we'll see y'all next week. Maybe Thursday. Stay tuned to that on our socials. And with that being said, have a good night. All right.